think in these times of radical change there is a necessity for art institutions, because in our societies nowadays we are really lacking radical institutions that provide a kind of space where we can all meet together, assemble, think about different strategies, how to organize, how to set up new structures for a new institutions and a new life. And I think art can be quite helpful in supplying a space for this coming together. The future of democracy in Europe is actually a quite tough question, because on the one hand I see this tendency in the last 10-15 years that the democracy is getting less and less democratic. The entire society seems to shift towards a more authoritarian way, and of course this is something we reject. And I myself, and I think most of the people who are participated here in the Biennale, and many people involved in social movements as well, I think they are trying to struggle in order to hinder this democracy getting in a more and more authoritarian way, and in order to turn around this direction and step by step to make it more democratic again, in order to really achieve something that could be called and truly named a democracy afterwards, which would necessarily involve a much higher level of participatory democratic processes. And I really hope that in the coming and current struggles, these movements and these fractions of our society that are ready to fight for a more democratic society, that they will become stronger and will finally succeed. At the moment I'm very interested in focusing on alternative economics, and in collaboration with Dario Azzellini I worked on a kind of documentation of existing examples here in Europe of factories that are occupied and where the worker took over the control of the factories, and so these are now factories under worker control. And there are examples in Rome, in Thessaloniki, in Milan, and in the south of France. And I think these are really positive examples that where the knowledge about these examples should be spread, and I hope that a biennial like this one in Athens can also help with spreading this information. Because I think in our society nowadays, where there are major shifts in the capitalist system, so many people are being driven out of their jobs, workers in factories, because the production is being moved to China or to India. And very often these are also profitable companies. And I think there's also a need to focus on these examples where workers just took over the production, that it's possible also in Europe to continue with producing goods. And therefore we did this work in order to point to these existing examples. I've been in Athens in the last couple of years, and this time already in the first day when I arrived, I had a chance to participate in a really major demonstration, and I was just very impressed by the number of people who participate in demonstrations, and I was impressed of the energy of the people in it. So I'm coming from Vienna, which is a city which is doing relatively well within this global economic and financial crisis, I would say. And I think you would have to add participants in all the demonstrations for 5 years in order to get to the numbers of just a single major rally here in Athens. And when I see something like this, I also have the feeling that people are ready to fight for a new system, and even when the first attempts with the Syriza movement did not prove to bring this kind of change, I think most people hoped it would bring. I think there's still energy and still power to keep on fighting, and so I really hope that people will win here this struggle, and that this will also become kind of an example for struggles for more democracy and for a more egalitarian economic system on a European or on a global level.